This is the original Firefighter Podcast, where we talk about anything you would talk about at the Firehouse kitchen table. And sometimes we even talk about fighting fires. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Let's get into the show. And welcome back to another episode of the original Firefighter Podcast show. I am Will Peterson with my co-host Phil Nedved. And Phil, I'm liking the shirt today. You got the Boxer Bruce on. Just remember, if you're listening and viewing, make sure to go over to originalfirefighter.com, pick up some of our merchandise. Also know that we give back 5% of all of our sales to help mental health and wellness, and we also promote cancer awareness and treatment for cancer during the month of October. We specifically lean into breast cancer awareness for female firefighters and testicular and throat cancer. Testicular cancer, obviously, for male firefighters, and throat cancer is also on the rise for firefighters in general. So be aware of that. And as we get into the fall season, we'll be pushing that more and more. But today we're going to talk about, given what I just went through there, we're going to talk today about physicals for firefighters, specifically the NFPA 1582 physical fitness, fit for duty physical that many firefighters do. And when I say I'm assuming that many firefighters do, I went through the majority of my time in the fire service, still in it today, but I had to relocate myself to finally get a NFPA 1582 physical. It's the first one I've ever had. I just had it done last week. Phil, I'm wondering, what do you know about it? I'll tell you what my experience was, but what's your knowledge and background about the NFPA 1582 physicals?
I mean, I think anything that we can do to screen our firefighters in their career, especially yearly, is something good, but I think it could be utilized against us too. So I just want to be very cautious whenever we agree to something like that. Putting on my labor hat here, we want to make sure we protect our firefighters' rights throughout their career. And this is something potentially, depending on how it's agreed upon between the organization and the labor union, of is this punitive? Is there going to be punishment? Could I lose my job for it? It's something we want to be very clear about and make sure that when it is entered into any contract language that we still protect our firefighters. Yes, we want healthy firefighters. Yes, we want safe firefighters, but we also want firefighters to be protected. And if something is happening to where they potentially aren't qualified, well, why is that, and who does that liability fall on at that point? Is that on the organization now having to make sure they take care of that employee, or is it something to where this was prior to, and maybe it's more beneficial at the beginning of their career to be utilized rather than midway through their career where it potentially could harm the impact and have a negative impact on that employee?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's a double-edged sword, maybe, right? So it's good for the firefighters to know what's your baseline vitals, what happens to you when you exert yourself to, I'm brand new to it because I just had it done, and I'm like, I don't even know what we're doing here, and I looked like 50 Cent on the treadmill in the video Into Club, with the mask on. I'm on the treadmill and I'm all hooked up, and although 50 Cent was pretty jacked in that video.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you probably had a shirt on, and
it's that whole thing about what I think I look like versus what I really look like, as I'm just dying on the treadmill.
Is this over yet?
And it's no joke. I mean, because so the first thing I did was, you go in and I met the physician. He was very quick to let me know I am not a cardiologist. I do the tests, and he does all of them. Apparently, he does all of them for the surrounding departments where I'm at. And so a lot of the firefighters throughout, I don't know if throughout a particular part of the year where they all start to kind of filter through his little lab, if you will. And so you go in and you meet him, and he tells you what's going to happen. He's very detailed about everything that he's going to do and what he's looking for. But you're in workout clothes, and the first thing we did is we did a step up. I think a 3-minute step onto a step up box, and he was trying to figure out a way. He was using that to correlate how we could do certain physicals for lay people, just everyday civilians, to get a baseline of where their physical metrics might land if they were to exert themselves for 3 minutes, starting from a place of you're basically at 1 MET, I think it is, if you're just laying on your couch, to going, now all of a sudden you are up and out of the chair and you're heading towards the fire truck. But then how would that like relate to like just everyday people? Like what would they want to know as to what their physical capabilities would be based on this step up that we were doing? Anyways, long winded there. I don't mean for that to go on as long as that was, but we did the 3-minute step up box first, and then we went over and I got hooked up to the 12 lead EKG monitor, and I had this very intense squeezing blood pressure cuff because it had to be very snug because obviously you're going to be walking and then jogging and then running on this treadmill as the treadmill continues to incline, and then had pulse oximetry on my finger and some other stuff, and then the V, I think it's, what is it, the V max or the VO2 mask, and so then so now you're all cabled up and masked up, and for the first 4 minutes we were just I was just walking, and the treadmill went from level plane to up to like 4%, and then it just from there it just kept going more and more and more, and the rate of the belt started to increase. And before long, I think the first 4 minutes like I was just walking, but then by like minute 5 I'm doing kind of like you're running up a hill, and then oh shit, and then we hit 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and he's like, okay, you've hit the met that you needed to get to. Again, I don't know the percentages, because again, I've had such limited exposure to this type of physical. But then at 8 minutes and 8.5 minutes, he's like, okay, now just give me everything you got. And I'm like, a 13% incline, and I'm just running as hard as I can push myself. And it's basically like, he called it the pain cave. And the pain cave, which is ironic because his last name is Dr. Payne. So you go into this pain cave, and that's basically where it's the tip off. It's like you've gone over and there's nothing left that you can give, and you're gonna you can't go anymore. You kind of jump off, and so like how long you can go after when he says give me everything you got is I guess that measurement's pretty important too.
Yeah,
I did well. I was happy with it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the pain cave. I saw that in a movie one time. It's called Silence of the Lambs. I think Buffalo Bill.
Yes,
he had that. I think that was called the that's where they got the name from. The pain cave.
Yeah.
So you say you did well. Do you know your placement on that? What you like, where you placed overall? I know you do CrossFit. How I know because you told me. Just like everyone who does it. But where you place, like top 10 percentile, 20? Do you know about that?
According to my age, gender, and then my max value met, I ended up in the top 20% of my age group, I guess.
Yeah, and your age group, it's kind of more the max ceiling for the fire service. So actually, I got you something.
It is. Well, let me clarify that.
Okay.
It is. So I just moved into this condo, and I'm having a stair chair installed next week. So that's my age. That is actually my age. So I'm doing
2-story or single story. Did you avoid the stairs? Fall injuries and
no.
Stairs
I went the other way.
knees?
I went the other way. I have a freaking 3-story condo with stairs everywhere.
That was smart. Well, I got you something because you placed so high in 20th percentile. I signed you up for this card here.
I'm sure you did.
It's in the mail. It's on the way.
I'm sure you did.
ARP card for those that can't see.
Kick you in the nuts.
Once you hit a certain age, once you reach I think they call it the masters or the seniors or the golden years. Once you're up there. You start getting that, so
you'll get there.
No, we're proud of you. Yeah,
you're pretty to look at. You're pretty to look at now, but man, you better hold on to those looks.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I still look good for 40. I think I can pass for my late 20s still. So
wow, you are giving yourself a lot of rope, man.
Hey, man.
I will say I encourage people to go back and look at one of our previous episodes. I have said it from the day that we brought Phil Nedved onto our crew for Original Firefighter. This is our resident Elvis, and he was wearing an Elvis T-shirt a couple episodes ago. And you tell me if you have to see it. You have to see your actual face, and then your T-shirts. It's like I felt like Doublemint gum here.
Well, I think a lot of people that episode too, they make comment like, I don't see it. I don't get it. It's like, that's fair. Yeah.
Who cares?
But
I
in
see
some
it.
of the shorts that we had on the social medias, that it saw Elvis's face, and the software we use, it recognized that as a face. So there were 3 boxes. It was
It did.
you,
It added
me, and Elvis there. So
It did. It added a third
kind of put us next to each other.
Virtual AI Elvis to our chat.
The guest of the episode.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Soon, like Star Wars will have a hologram of Elvis just
That'd be
joining in
awesome.
with our. That'd be great.
Cool. Yeah.
But back to these physicals, and again, I think what I drive at with this conversation is that, so I am 52 years old, and as I think about that, I'm like, I was a little nervous going into this physical. I'm like, what? Because this can identify underlying heart problems. If you have a dysrhythmia, it can obviously show up because you're greatly exerting yourself, and you're doing it at a quick pace, right? You're going from virtually zero output to you're giving it everything you got, which is very firefighter-esque, right? We're called upon to, be woken up out of a sound sleep. Hopefully you get some sleep. But if you're getting a little bit of sleep out there, and then all of a sudden that alarm, goes off, and you're off and running at 100 miles an hour. And we know that does, cause issues. That cortisol level gets spiked up there. And obviously, that continuous, dopamine rush and adrenaline and dopamine and all that kind of going back and forth in your body. And over time, as a firefighter, I mean, you really have put your body through a lot, especially if you do this for a long time, for a full career.
Yeah. Quick story time on that.
Yeah, please.
I always think it's funny. We work 24-hour shifts. Most fire departments do work 24-hour shifts, and people don't realize that. Yes, we're allowed to sleep at work, and yes, there's a bedroom, or you have your either own private room, or a lot of older facilities have just one. We call it Gen Pop, the general population area. That's why I tested for officer.
That's a good way to get out of general population, isn't it?
Not true. That's not why I tested, but it is nice. It's a nice benefit. But what a lot of people don't realize is we are sleeping at work, and at 2:00 in the morning, what would you be like, and what would your heart rate do, or your heart do, when you were startled awake by a certain tone or speaking on a radio, and it is an emergency and you have to be there? Your heart rate's going to jump and do that 5 times a night. Resting heart rate while sleeping is in the 40s, 50s-ish, even for someone that might be up higher than that, like normally at like 100, which is not slow, to drop down to that, and then to automatically, boom, 180 every time. So a perfect example for me would be I was assigned to Station 6 on the far west side, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's the day going into Christmas Eve. So we work December 23rd into December 24th. So it is now Christmas Eve morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. Tones go off. It's the dispatcher gets on the radio, starts giving us engines, 6, 3, 1, ladders 1, 9, and gave us the dispatch for it, and then said residential structure fire. And now with newer systems, it's no longer a dispatcher, it's a computerized voice, right? So you don't get that inflection or that tone of that dispatch to where it's a go, because they've had multiple calls, they hear other people on the other end and how frantic they are. So you knew right away with that specific fire, this is a job, we're going to it. And
just based on the dispatcher's voice, right?
Right. It's faster. You can tell in the tone it's serious.
And that's great for when it's real, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then I think I know where you're going, right?
Your heart rate goes up. Unfortunately for this specific fire, after they gave the dispatch, they said people trapped inside. Right. So now we get down to the truck, and at this station, it was a 2-story station. It's one of one of 3 stations that we actually have a fire pole in. No one ever used the fire pole. We were all going down that pole, this one, as soon as we heard that. We are first on scene. As we're going en route and getting more additional information from dispatch, we're getting told it's 3 children inside. So what do you think that heart rate was at that point? So that specific call, I was the driver, right? So try driving with those kind of things going on right now. Sleep deprived, but now you're wide awake. Your heart rate's through the roof. The adrenaline's going. You got a job to do. You got to think about, what do I got to do? Where am I parking at? What are some safety hazards? Where, all these different things are going through your mind. And the call we were on scene within 3 minutes of dispatch, which is pretty fucking quick, you know, because we were close to that call. It was less than a mile away from where we were stationed at. So now we're on scene, and we get on scene, and you look at this house. It's a 3-story, 2.5-story, 3-story. I mean, first floor, second floor, third floor, fire pushing out that alpha side, that delta side. I mean, it was not fully involved, but man, it was getting there. And then, so, at that point, we've got to get a quick knock on this. We've got to try and locate these 3 people. Like I said, unfortunately, it was 3 children under the age of 16 that unfortunately died that fire. But it's one of those things that a lot of people don't realize, and going back to the beginning of the resting heart rate to the maxed out heart rate, and how quickly that changes real quick. Now do that multiple times a night. And this is why these physicals are so good, to find these things that are potentially this over your course of your career. What's the baseline? And then what is it 5 years later, 10 years later, 15 years later, and knowing what this job is doing to us. The problem is what happens when you're 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years into your career, they find something and say, well, you can't do this job anymore. Well, but what was the baseline? Well, unfortunately, we didn't do a baseline. So this might not be the job. And like anything, insurance doesn't want to pay out. They're going to do everything not to pay. Unfortunately, your city administrations also don't want to be on the hook to take care of you, unfortunately. So that's why we have to protect our members, to know, okay, we know what this job does to you. We know that there's things that you might be predisposed to, but there's other things that are caused by this job. That's why certain states have laws in place, and that's why we're pushing the federal government to the presumption laws, especially for cancer, cardiac, and respiratory. Those are things that we're pushing to make sure that we are covered, because we know this job is a class 1 carcinogen. Just by doing this job alone, you're exposed to it. Now add in everything else to it. So these are great physicals, great things to do if they're utilized properly. Unfortunately, when it becomes punitive, you're going to have people less likely to want to do them and are fearful of doing them too.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I've already used the analogy that it's a double-edged sword, right? And to be clear, what I described obviously was the stress test part of it, and to bring that up, what you talked about going from like a resting heart rate. I think I was like at a resting heart rate of 62, and my max heart rate got up to 169. So and really the bigger part of that is getting to that max heart rate, but then you want to be able to have a quick recovery and see that heart rate start to come down. And do that efficiently, not to have some sort of a bottom out, or on the other side, go into some sort of a, SVT, and have this heart rate that starts to run away from you. But that's just one component of this entire NFPA 1582 physical, because this is examining your cardiovascular, your pulmonary, there's a vision test, a hearing test, blood panels, the stress test that I just discussed, and then chest imaging too. And I got to tell you something, because now I'm going through all these particular tests, and some of these are multiple appointments to go take care of, each piece of the entire physical. I didn't have any worries before I started doing this. And now I'm waiting for the results to come back, and I'm like, shit, what if something comes back?
Yeah.
So it's like it'd be great to know that you are in good physical health, but I mean, you might also find out that you've got something else going on. And there's one thing about what you just said, or there's many things about what you just said, is that there's a very high chance that doing this profession for as long as we do it, you're gonna end up with some problem. Whether it's cardiovascular related, whether it's diet and exercise, you end up, getting later in life type 2 diabetes, or any other type of, anomaly. You go in for a chest X-ray and they find a mass, or something of that nature. And so then therefore, but I guess at the end of the day, it is early detection. If you're going to find something, I mean, this is a good way to do it, but then it shouldn't necessarily be a disqualifier if you're able to recover from it too. If you can get good medical advice and get on a regimen, it should not be a disqualifier and be held against you. in your career, hopefully.
It should be utilized by departments to benefit the members, not be a fit for duty type of test, right? Go there, get these findings. If there's anything, we're here to back you, get you back to work as soon as we can. If there's nothing, great. Now we've got a baseline.
But let me push back on that a little bit. What if it is indicating that you are not fit for duty here?
That's where we have
because again, that goes back to your negotiations, right? I mean, that because obviously if you're coming on the job right out of the chute and you do an NFPA 1582 physical and it comes back like, you got some serious issues that we need to correct before you can even think to do this job, or it may just be a disqualifier in and of itself.
Yeah. And that's why I think it'd be good for a baseline to utilize. But then after that, yet again, we have to take care of our members. We have to protect our members. We as that labor organization have those best interests. Unfortunately, we're going against people that might not always have those best interests, right? So we got to make sure there's the protections in there to make sure that they're taken care of. God forbid something is found out. Again, you've been on the job for 25 years and we're finding this now. Guess what? If it's cardiac, if it's pulmonary, if it's cancer, it should be covered.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where we want to make the push for it. We have no problem with getting our members these screenings. When it turns into a fit for duty, what's the next steps then? How do we get this person? Is there some sort of remediation that they're going to go through to get them to where they need to be fit for duty? Right.
Right.
And this is just the start of it, right? There needs to be a whole lot of discussion prior to these things being put in place to make sure that yet again, we are protecting our members, to make sure the department should want to protect these members, right? If this is someone who's been on the job, it's not a new recruit or someone who hasn't even started, the investment that they've made in this person and throughout their career, why do we just want to discard them so quickly and so easily, especially when it's something that we potentially could have caused by putting them in certain gear that causes cancer? Not having proper ventilation in the station for the exhaust. Right? Those are things that we should be doing for our members, but there's still places that don't do it properly.
It is incredible how much what you've just detailed there. It is incredible how much the fire service of itself has changed in that sort of behind the scenes way, where there was a day and time, and I don't know if you were on when they were still smoking in the stations. I don't know if they So they, they were smoking in the fire trucks. You'd be coming back from a call, and these guys would be, lighting up, or they'd be on the fire, and they'd be overhauling and have a cigarette in their mouth. So clearly, that's low hanging fruit. That's obviously changed. But then we move into, not bringing gear into our living quarters, and then we move into, the exhaust of our fire trucks and all the diesel fumes, and think about everything that's been collected into that fire station for 25 years or more. And it just goes on. And you are living in that environment. If the fire ground wasn't going to kill you, then the firehouse could kill you just as easily.
Yeah. Especially some of the food we eat.
Yeah. I mean, we don't do ourselves a ton of favors all the time. It always blows my mind, especially if you are a department that has 2 sets of gear at least. Hopefully you do. But then, just the guys that just won't wash their gear, they won't wear that second set of gear, rotate your gear, that kind of thing. All of this stuff was based on evidence that we were prematurely, injuring our firefighters through detrimental diseases that were being found later in their careers. And we can prevent some of that stuff, right? We can't prevent everything, but we can prevent a lot of it. And I do think that this particular physical, again, why am I acting so shocked by it? Probably because, and full disclosure, a good friend of mine down in Arizona, in Prescott, Arizona, he actually is a survivor of testicular cancer, and he's been in the fire service for a long time. He's got a long career out there in Arizona. But when I told him that I was, relocating here to Whitefish, Montana, going back into the fire service, that the Whitefish Fire Department was putting me through this NFPA 1582 physical. And when I told him that this was the first time that I ever was getting a 1582 physical, he just was like, "What? That's the first time?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, it just wasn't a thing back where we're from, where you're at. Yeah. It just wasn't a thing for us to, and it's not that we didn't, I remember when we started, I think we talked about doing some of this stuff at some point, but I do also recall there were union negotiations and talks about how if this is going to be done, then how is it going to be done? And that ends up being that kind of like that snag, if you will, right?
Yeah.
This episode of the original Firefighter Podcast is sponsored by Castle Contracting. Castle Contracting offers commercial and residential restoration, leading the industry in roofing, residential siding, gutters and downspouts, egress window installation, storm damage assessment and repair, and solar energy, saving you money and time. If you want to be treated like royalty, contact Castle Contracting to schedule a free inspection. Call them at 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. That's 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. Serving Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, Castle Contracting has you covered. Your home is your castle. Call Castle Contracting today.
It's one of those things. It needs to be done at the beginning of the career, right? And then so you have a baseline. That's the biggest thing, right? You can't now say, hey, you've been here for 20 years. We're going to make you do this. And if you don't pass, see you later.
Yeah, right.
You know, right? I mean, if there's some issues for the physical fitness portion of this, for the physical fitness evaluation, like, okay, what are the things in place? What are the next steps? How do we go into remediation? You have 3 months, 6 months to do this. Are you off duty now? Are you pulled on light duty? What's the path forward here? And I think at certain points, certain people just don't have an appetite to keep going. Not only that, but the cost, especially larger organizations, the cost impact of, take a Chicago. I don't know if they do these type of physicals every year, yearly, every 5 years, every 10 years, but imagine the cost for the Chicago Fire Department to put every member through this 1582.
Exactly. And so, to just expound on that a little bit, the thing about whether departments do it or not, it's not always because of, there's a disagreement between labor and management. These are expensive physicals. So you could have budget constraints. You could also have logistical challenges. There just may not be anyone that's qualified in your area that can perform an NFPA 1582 physical. So there's that. And then, kind of where I would put myself is the lack of awareness that this is even a thing. So I guess, I'm using my experience and bringing it up on the show in this episode because I found it to be valuable. Again, I know I'm quite a long ways into the fire service career of mine, but so many people are just starting out, and some of you may be kind of like in the middle of your career, and it would be, I would encourage you to ask your department, ask your leadership, and ask your union leaders also, is there a way to get together on this and start doing these type of physicals?
Yeah. Now, I will say, I know I was speaking with one of our other lieutenants who's on my company, just a different shift, who's part of our health and wellness committee. And speaking with him, we are going to be starting these physicals soon. I don't know if it's the NFPA 1582 or if it's something else or some sort of screening, but at least it's something. It's a step in the right direction, hopefully, to where we can start, even if it's just a pre-cancer screening alone.
Sure.
Right? That's going to be huge for us. But I think it's a little bit more in depth than that. Yet again, the big three to me are going to be the cancer screening, cardiac, and pulmonary.
Yeah. Well, let's for this moment, let's pivot, but still sticking with physical fitness and your own personal accountability. Let's talk about the way that we hurt ourselves sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So diet comes to mind, right? And you mentioned some of the meals that we cook and that kind of thing. What's the worst, like in terms it's delicious, it's a great meal, but so terrible for you? What's the most common one that comes to mind that you've had in the firehouse?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can make some really unhealthy meals, but they're just so good. Like I do this Philly cheesesteak skillet that I make, and the amount of well, you've had it before, because you used to make fun of me for deconstructing my food for you.
It
did, wasn't actually a Philly cheesesteak sandwich. It was a skillet, and the amount of
you had skills.
Cheese whiz in that thing. Like cheese whiz is not healthy for you by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Not only that, but then it had provolone melted on top of it.
Sure.
I mean, what an unhealthy meal, but it was so good. I liked it.
You just picked a very controversial meal right there, because lots of people fall on either side of that, aisle, where it's like you either do have cheese whiz in a Philly cheesesteak or you don't.
Well, that's why I did both.
Like people have battles.
That's why I did both. Like it's either the cheese whiz or it's the provolone. I do both. So
you do.
There's no hate.
You're doing both.
No hate. I'm doing it both.
That's awesome.
I bring people together is what I do. Both sides of the aisle. I'm a mediator. Let's work this out.
Yeah. You know, so this is one of mine that I absolutely love, and it's very basic, but it's basically it's just the linguine noodles with Italian sausage and broccoli. There's really not like it's not a cream based sauce.
Butter,
It's
butter
just
garlic.
butter and garlic and olive oil.
My recruit just
And
made that meal exactly to a T, the pasta, broccoli, sausage, and butter
Yep.
and garlic, because he was trying to figure out what to do for a nice Sunday meal, which Sunday we always do our sugo.
yes,
But we were kind of pivoting that Sunday, and it was we're doing brunch, so biscuits and gravy,
yeah.
unhealthy, bacon,
Oh.
hash browns, eggs, right? Got some
There-
protein in
that
there.
might be the most unhealthiest meal
Yeah.
is when you have breakfast
Yeah.
for
Oh,
dinner
yeah.
at the Firehouse because
'Cause
you
you
just
add
go
in-
hog wild.
Yeah,
You know,
you add in the
it's
pancakes on
flapjacks.
top. Yeah.
It's
You want some-
flapjacks, it's waffles, and then it's southern fried chicken and steak or whatever, and then it's biscuits and gravy and all the things, right?
Well, so I try and do low sugar, no sugar kind of dietary, right? That's what I try and do. I don't eat sweets. I try not to.
Yeah,
at
we
least,
know there's no taste to it.
Right. So, but when I do have those cheat meals, it's
Yeah.
always breakfast. And my wife makes phenomenal banana chocolate chip pancakes. And then I am a sucker. Like if I have maple syrup in my house, it's the good stuff. It's like the
I always buy.
$15
Yes.
small bottle, right?
I don't buy anything imitation.
Yeah, I'm not buying that trash. So I mean, it's just pure sugar too at that
Right.
point. And she always looks at me and she's like, "Hey, do you want some pancakes with that syrup?" Because I load that shit on there. It's so good. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Going back to the linguine and Italian sausage, what I always thought was, again, because from the eye, it kind of looks like it's a healthy meal.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. Okay, it's not healthy, but
Pasta,
it's not, but it's not cream based, right? But then when you get down to the big cauldron tin pot or the metal pot, and you just tipped it to its side, and you just saw all that butter and olive oil at the bottom of that pot, and you're like, okay, there's nothing healthy about this.
You
at
know
all.
what actually is happening? It's just solidifying in you right
Yeah.
now as you're eating it. Like
Right.
good stuff.
Yeah. So that was always a favorite of mine. And then I have to give a shout out to Jeff Linden. I'm going to say him by name, Jeff Linden, and his
I know where this is going.
and his
Cinnamon rolls.
cinnamon rolls. Oh my God, he would just make the biggest tray of these honking cinnamon rolls, big as your face. I mean, it was guys. There were guys that were like, I ate 4 of them.
Yeah.
Or 5 of them.
3.
I mean, I'd be like, I ate a half of one.
It was a challenge. I ate 3, and that was Fat Phil though. That was Fat Phil for sure.
You've eaten 3 of those in a day in one shift.
Yep. It was a challenge. He said, "I bet you can have more than 2." I was like, "I can eat more than 2."
Man,
I ate
alive.
3. I didn't feel good about it.
I did when I was
Hated myself.
when I was retiring. Towards the end of getting to the last few days that I had there in Rockford Fire, I asked him. I said, "Will you please make your cinnamon rolls?" And he did.
Yeah.
And they were delicious.
Yeah.
Speaking of delicious food, but this one kind of came in on the burnt side. So apparently August 18th of this year, August 18th, 2025, a tractor trailer carrying 40,000 pounds, equivalent to 20 tons of ribeye steak, caught fire on Highway 174 in Missouri. Apparently the fire department that responded to put this fire out, this was was it the first fire for, I guess it was their only vegan firefighter.
You know how I found out she was vegan? She told everybody.
Yeah, I was like, why do we know? Like, why do we know that she was a vegan? Right? Was it a she?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to be accurate. But anyways, so apparently the local fire department noted the irony of a vegan firefighter responding to the blaze and joked about the smell. But I'm like, why do we know that this person's vegan? Like, who cares?
She was offended by the smell of the burnt meat versus the other noxious fumes that we come in across our career with. All right. She's in for a rude awakening, I guess.
I would say so. I would say so. This happened in Doolittle, Missouri. I'm sorry, but the name kind of cracks me up. And so that's where this occurred at. And yeah, so a lot of ribeye went up in flames. I'm sure there was some pretty good jokes when they got back to back to quarters, right? Um,
You know what? They probably told her, well done.
Well done. Oh, they had to warn that out. By the end of the shift, you probably went home like nauseated by. You'd have to be like to your don't not say well done. Yeah, but okay, I'm gonna push into this a little bit. So I fully expect you're gonna roast me on this. I see what I did there, roast. So where do we go with a vegan firefighter? I mean, is that on the cook? Is that on us to accommodate, or is that like, well, if you're vegan, where do we go vegetarian?
So I don't know if you know or remember, but I lived a whole food plant-based diet for about 5 years.
And you put on so much weight.
That's her fault. Actually, the other thing, it went the other way, but sure. So what I was essentially a vegan. Now, I never said I was vegan because it wasn't because of ethical reasons. I was just trying to be healthier. And like I said, fat fill was a real thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll
Congratulations for killing the bees.
Yeah, maybe we'll throw a picture up of what that 21-year-old chub used to look like. But so what I would do was one station I was at was the only time I was ever out of the mess, and I didn't like it. But I asked the officer at the time, like, hey, this is what I eat. I mean, if I'm in the mess, as long as there's like a salad. If there's a salad, I'm good to go. He said, no, we're not going to do that. And I said, okay, well, I'll be out of the mess. Now, that being said, and so for people,
really,
the mess for us was what we paid to buy the groceries. Now, I still took my turn cooking, and I would cook meat for them and still do it, but I would have like a vegetable on the side or a potato and still have a side salad kind of thing. So I would still cook. I'd still take my turn. I'd pay my money, but I ended up bringing my own food.
What station isn't willing to make a freaking salad?
It was Station 9 at the time, the 9 mirror.
Well, there was some crap food that came out of there with all the boiled chicken and all that stuff too. So everything was boiled. I'm not going to say his name, but congratulations.
Full of flavor.
Yeah, past the taste. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just like, make a salad. Who cares? But I guess at the end of the day, my question is how far do we accommodate to vegan, vegetarian? I mean, everybody knows I hate onions, and I'm sure that I ate lots of onions because that's what we do.
Won't lie to you. There were,
I know.
Put a lot of onions in some foods for you.
Yeah. That's okay. That's all right. I lived.
Yeah.
I survived it. Yeah.
I think,
what do you think?
You make as much as accommodation. I mean, listen, knowing that there's someone who has it's no different than someone having an allergy, right? I've got a guy who's allergic to nuts and he's allergic to dairy and he's like, we work around that, I mean, there's other people with
You don't think there's a difference between something that you can't control?
Right?
Well, right. Yeah, I get that.
Right,
yeah,
but we work around that, right? I mean, like, hey, we're still going to do meat, but there's going to be some things for you. And okay, so we're not going to use butter. We'll use olive oil, right? So I think there's some accommodations you can make, but I'm not going far out of my way to help with that either, right? Like bring in some stuff.
I don't want to be at a firehouse that won't use butter.
Right. If you have, well, yeah, that's fair. If you have restrictions, right? Like I said, there's other people that have dietary restrictions and dietary requirements, right? So they always kind of take care of themselves, right? There's always something that they can do. Now, if they're in the mess, if you've done it, right? I mean, with onions, if we were doing a meal, it's like, shit, we forgot the onions. There was something that you could eat, right? Or around that.
Yeah, so I mean, again, you can work around. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I guess I would just land on.
For you.
Yeah, I guess I would land on like if it's fair and reasonable, sure. I mean, if you start like dictating what the menu is going to be for the rest of the troops, no,
not gonna happen.
And then also be prepared that there's just going to be some times that you may need to have a little stockpile of your own stuff in your locker. I don't know, but no, I like what you're driving at is if you can be a part of the mess, you should be. I believe in that. I think the best part of a firehouse is the kitchen table where you get to have the food and have the meals and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still, when I was out of the mess, I still sat and ate with them. And I had my own food. I just ate my own food.
Yeah.
But I think it's bad when people are like, well, I'm out of the mess. I'm not cooking. It's like, man, that's shitty too. Take your turn. Like you cook what you want. We're going to eat it. We're going to bust your balls if it's bad though.
It is pretty cool. I know that I've got a few friends that are like on Chicago Fire Department, New York City Fire Department, and there are places out there where they have like a dedicated cook, like one person that cooks all the meals for the whole year for the whole
All-time
shift.
chef.
All-time chef.
I did that.
Yeah, I cooked a lot. There was a back at Station 3, there was nearly a year. I won't say that I cooked every single meal. I won't say that, but I cooked a lot. I was on deck like all the time and volunteering because I enjoyed doing it. I know that there was one particular firefighter, a driver engineer. He had the system where he would cook one full month and then he would like take a month off and just like, yep. So I'm going to cook one full month, every shift for everybody. And then he'd be like, okay, now I'm going to, so basically 6 months out of the year he was cooking. But no,
I
I
don't
think
mind
that's pretty cool.
cooking. I hate getting groceries. That's my day.
Yeah, that is the pain in the butt.
Brutal. You got to wake up earlier every day.
It's like you've given yourself a chore.
Yeah.
Just
something else you've got to do.
Yeah. And I like when the fire truck goes to the store to get groceries for one particular reason. I like the community engagement. I just see it as simple as that. The fire truck's at the grocery store getting groceries. They're walking through the grocery store. People come up, they talk to you. I think that's a good thing. You'll have the random person that it's like, why are you guys doing this? And aren't you supposed to be doing something else? And it's like, you know what? Don't worry about your fucking self.
I'm paying so you can come get groceries.
Yeah, right. So, but at the end of the day, I always thought it was a good thing, but it, like you can't go out of service to go get groceries. At least you shouldn't be doing that. So, you get interrupted, then the meal gets later and later into the day. And so things can kind of unravel and fall apart pretty quick. But I don't know. I never minded if someone said, hey, I didn't get groceries. Can we go to the store?
This episode is brought to you by Strike the Box Cigars, Pipes, and Tobacco. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just starting your journey into the world of fine tobacco, Strike the Box has what you need. From the finest cigars to premium loose leaf tobacco, Strike the Box delivers on quality in a welcoming space where you can enjoy a smoke and good company. Additionally, Strike the Box specializes in vintage pipe restoration. We're talking estate pipes brought back to life with craftsmanship that borders on art. Got Grandpa's old briar gathering dust? Let the crew at Strike the Box make it smoke like new. Check out their full list of vintage pipes for sale at striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois. Soak in the aroma and talk shop with real tobacco lovers from the American Fire Service. Strike the Box, where fire, flavor, and tradition meet. Again, that's striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois.
Yeah. I think listen, sometimes sometimes there's days where we forget to talk about who's cooking next day.
Yeah,
if
right.
no one's cooking, we've got to do something. So
yeah. How about the guy though that says I will cook, but then he still doesn't go get groceries,
or he calls in sick. That's happened. That's happened plenty of times.
Yeah. Well, you can't pick your sick days; they pick you.
Yeah.
Moving on, exciting news. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for it? That's actually a lyric. That's actually a lyric from one of her songs. Are you ready for it?
The fact that you know that's a lyric from her song.
Well, I do. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
You got your ARP card and you know these songs. That's all right.
So Tay and Travis Kelce. That's actually the way he says his last name. I thought it was everyone Kelsey, but it's Kelce. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. They're engaged
for now.
The trumpets are playing in heaven right now. I can see it. Are you excited? Are you? Come on, man.
I'm not a 12-year-old girl. I could care less.
Okay, then why did you tell me to do this segment? It was to set me up, wasn't it?
It was because you know her songs.
You son of a. So yes, August 26th, the question was pop. She answered, and the answer was yes. So they are getting married. This gives permission to all the girls out there to actually go get a boyfriend and get engaged yourself, because I'm sure that they're following everything that she does.
Pretty based, actually. She's going to turn around our culture. We've got declining birth rates and everything. The problem is, how old? I mean, she's fairly old, right? I mean, she's been around forever, so she's got to be in her mid-30s.
Mid-30s, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like 35, 36.
Yeah.
You know, kids.
34, I think.
Are kids on the horizon?
Aaron, how old is she? I think Aaron's going to look it up. I think she's 30. Apparently the let's see here. She's 35.
Nailed it.
Okay, 35.
She looks like a 35-year-old. That's how I knew.
Yeah.
She looks her age.
35, still singing about breakup song. Yeah, right. Still singing breakup songs. The Ring.
Real growth in her career.
Well, you know, there's only things, right?
We better be careful, by the way, because
Why?
the Swifties will, I mean, if we thought getting called Nazis was bad, we're going to get death threats. So I love Taylor Swift. She's amazing. Yeah. Let's make this a short. I'm so happy for them. I can't wait. It's going to be like the royal wedding. I'm going to stay up and watch the whole thing. It's going to be
going to be better than a royal wedding.
Yeah. So much better.
I bet the royal family's not even invited to this. They're not worthy. They're not worthy.
Meghan will be there. Princess Meghan.
Yeah. Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the question, I guess. Is she going to become Taylor Kelsey, or is she going to remain Taylor Swift?
No. Hell to the no.
Travis
Swift, maybe.
This is what I love about this show is when this happened, we were literally talking about it in the Firehouse. We were talking about this at the Firehouse that day.
The real conspiracy here is this. Okay, it's not the engagement; it's the timing of the engagement, because the 2025 NFL season is upon us and about to start.
Weird how it's
so the timing is impeccable. Impeccable.
Yeah. Well, so then that brings me to the next question. She's probably not going to change her name to Taylor Kelsey, right? She's going to remain Taylor Swift.
She's not changing it. No, she's not changing her name.
Is he going to change his name to Travis Swift?
Travis Swift? Yeah, probably.
He's going to cuck out. He's going to do it.
Probably.
That's funny.
Have you seen some of his outfits?
To be fair, it's going to be 87 from the Chiefs with the name Swift on the back is going to be the best-selling jersey of all time. It's going to beat Michael 100%,
Jordan, right?
Kobe Bryant.
Look at the jersey behind, right? I've got Jerry Rice touchdown king signed autograph right behind me, and this won't even come close to what that jersey is going to sell for.
Every 12-year-old girl is going to have that jersey.
Yeah,
that's going to be the number one gift for Christmas next year. Watch. I'm calling it. They better start printing them now.
Well, in a previous episode, I had said that the number one Halloween costume, my prediction this year, was going to be the Kiss Cam from the Coldplay concert. So that's what I was predicting at that time. The couple that got caught doing, doing their naughty deed
at salt and pepper. That one, like actual like salt and pepper, not the band Salt and Pepper.
Why would it?
Like a couple costume. I think that's just a classic. Salt and pepper.
What's next? Ketchup and mustard?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
No, so I had predicted it. I had predicted at that time when the Coldplay scandal broke out that couple or the Kiss Cam was going to be the number one Halloween costume, but nope, it's going to be this. This is what I mean. What is he wearing? And did she dress him? She had to have. Like, you don't go out looking like this.
Listen, I'm no fashion icon myself, but god damn, that's brutal.
It's brutal.
He looks like, wow.
He looks like he's in pain. Like he's like, I hate
Swifties,
this.
I love him. He looks amazing.
All right, so some other predictions for the wedding. I think so. There's going to be obviously a huge wedding, and I think at their wedding dance, like when they. So the top 3 songs are going to be Touchdown and Tie the Knot, Love on the 50-Yard Line, or Cheerleader to Bride. Something along those lines. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Cheerleader Bride.
Cheerleader Bride.
Yeah. I like it.
So, yeah.
Who do you think his best man's going to be? Probably his brother. I'd assume his brother.
Whoever she says is allowed.
You know, me and my wife were talking about this the other day, and I was like, you know what? Unfortunately, I hope nothing but the best for people, right? You found your person. Hopefully but it's celebrity weddings, right? It's celebrity marriages.
It is, yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't know, right? This could age very poorly, and they could be together for the next 50 years until one of them passes away, right? Or it's going to last.
I don't wish them. I mean, I hope they stay together. stay together, have a great life. I mean, doesn't affect me, and have a ball. Because I mean, you already are doing that. I mean, you can do more than anybody else on planet Earth, except for maybe Elon Musk, right? But at the end of the day, you know, hey, go have fun. They're going to be great. You know, we're going to see them a lot on NFL highlights, and you know, every time there's a Chiefs game on, I'll make sure I'm watching the Niners.
Show her, yeah. But so talking about it with my wife, we were talking about celebrity couples, and you know, they don't really last very long, at least not until they're older in life and maybe out of the limelight a little bit more. But you have two people that are top tier in their professions, right? She is the number one selling music artist, and he's the number one tight end in football, right? So they are top tier in their professions. Problem is, we're still human beings, and history has shown us that men are the provider and the protector. Well, when your wife has about 1 million times your worth, right, and you're not the provider, that's an ego thing for sure, right? And not every man can come to terms with that. I'm not saying he's an alpha male. He looks like one. He plays football. You would assume he is, but then the way he dresses makes me question that. He could still beat me up, I'm sure. That's fine.
I know.
But
here's some
wonder,
advice. Just wear your NFL jersey off duty, and you'll look awesome.
Yeah. You know what? I used to play football for the Rockford Fire team. You know?
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you were a semi-pro football player.
Yeah, I could have been.
I suspected that.
Yeah.
Although I can never think you would never put a helmet on that head of hair.
No, that's why it was flag football. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not putting that on me.
Yeah.
You see this hair?
This ain't going here. No, it'd actually be funny if we wore just fire helmets.
Right.
That'd be funny. Yeah. But no, we actually played against.
That's like European firefighters. They're ready to do both.
To oh, yeah.
They can go fight fire, and they can play. Although they play soccer,
they can ride a motorcycle. They can
they can do all the things with that stupid helmet. That Euro trash helmet.
Europe hating us now. Great. We got
that's all right.
Swifties in Europe. So the entire world hates. No wonder the original Firefighter podcast is thriving in America.
That's right. That's right.
But no, I just find it interesting. You know, hopefully they can overcome those odds. Is I guess what I'm saying. Like, you know,
sure. And you are actually being genuine, and you're saying there's a lot of weight to the fact that they're going to have a very, very public, you know, marriage, if you will. I mean, that's their choice, though, right? I mean, they don't have to be in the public eye all the time, and certainly the media will try to force that and make that happen because obviously they want their ratings. Again, I go back to kind of a wink of when they decided to announce this engagement, and the NFL season is upon us. So, you know, we're going to see the viewership go up. We're going to see the Kansas City Chiefs games, you know, completely just, you know, off the charts in ratings and things of that nature. So obviously there's going to be a correlation.
I can't imagine there's much left to his NFL career though either, right? I mean, he's 35, also 36.
Yeah.
Born in 89. So, I mean, he might have a year or two left, especially in his position. Quarterbacks typically can play past their 40s.
However long she says he can play.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he's done. He's ready to go. Last year, retirement year.
Yeah. Hey, we wish them the best. If you're listening to us out there, Tay and Travis, Original Firefighter says congratulations and good luck. Yeah, so with that, hey, just remember, we do want to make sure that you're listening each week. You can pick us up on anywhere you get your podcasts. Also go to originalfirefighter.com for merchandise. And as always, be safe out there. This has been the Original Firefighter Podcast. Thanks for watching and listening. Tune in each week on Wednesdays for a new episode. Like and follow us on all social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel today.